Hey, I'm Kevin Jones, and I'm the owner of my roofing and construction here in Cleburne, Texas. Today, I wanted to give you a short little teaching on your insurance claim. One of the things we find is people are so confused about insurance. So, today, we're going to assume that you've had hail damage and that you have replacement cost insurance. So, in this particular case, we're going to say you have replacement cost insurance. Your deductible on your house, let's say, is a 2% deductible. So if we use your house, say at $400,000, 2% deductible on that amount would be $8,000 deductible. So you have your adjuster come out, they look at your property, they walk all around it, they come back to you and they say, okay, yes, we're totaling your roof. Your roof is going to cost you $30,000 in order to replace it. That doesn't mean they're giving you a check for $30,000. The first thing they're going to do when they look at it is they're going to look at the age and condition of the roof. They are going to depreciate that roof by that age. So we're going to use 50%, even though normally it's never 50% unless it's just really an old roof. But we're using 50% because math is easier when you're just dividing in two. So if you have a $30,000 claim and they depreciate it 50%, that means your depreciation is going to be $15,000. And the front check, which is called the actual cash value check or the ACV check, that check is going to be $15,000 minus your deductible. So it's going to be a check actually of $7,000 because you have an $8,000 deductible, and the two of those number equal $15,000. So when an adjuster comes out and he inspects your property and he sees that it's a totaled roof, he's going to do his paperwork. It's usually 7, 8, 9, 10 pages long. He's going to depreciate that roof by that 50%. And so when you get your paperwork in the mail and you're going to get a $7,000 check. Now let me just tell you this as well. If you have a mortgage on your home, depending on your mortgage company, but majority of them, if the check is $5,000 or more, that first check is going to be made out to you and to your mortgage company. You need to go ahead and get with them and see what's it take to have that check endorsed so that you can deposit it and have those funds available to be able to pay your contractor. So in this case, you let's just say you have no mortgage company, so they've got you $7,000 check. In your insurance mind right now, what has happened is they've paid $7,000 and you've paid $8,000 with your deductible. The roofer comes, they do all of the work, they tear the shingles off, they put the new roof on. They then are going to send your insurance company a certificate of completion, a final invoice for the $30,000. Now, what you would like to have happen is that depreciation amount, that $15,000, would then be released in order for you to deposit that and to be able to pay your contractor. But before they release that depreciation, majority of your insurance companies they want to see a copy of the check that was wrote for the deductible. They want to see that you paid the $8,000. And until they see that and have proof that you paid that $8,000, they will not release the depreciation on the claim. So it's not a complicated thing. It's just like when you go to a doctor, you go to a hospital, you have a deductible on your medical insurance. It's what you pay, and you know the rest of the surgeons and things are covered. The best thing about the deductible and your policy is that when you get those long pages of all that stuff, you know, hey, listen, I got this portion. This deductible's my share. And that means everything else is going to be covered. It's going to be new by the insurance. If there's a problem, the contractor can work on other things. But let's just assume no problems. That's what it means. You do that, you write the check, boom. You're able to pay your contractor $30,000, and you've only paid $8,000 out of pocket. Now, what people always want to know is how can I not pay that deductible? Well, legally, if all you had was just the roof, there's not a legal way for you not to pay that deductible. Now, what some contractors would tell you is, listen, it's $30,000 is what insurance is saying, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to only charge you $28,000. And so I'm going to send them an invoice for $30,000, but you just pay me $28,000, and that'll save you $2,000 off your deductible. Let me just tell you that if you get any contractor who's telling you to do that, that they're going to do that, it is causing you to be in contractual fraud with your insurance company, and that is an illegal offense. They're wanting you to see that you paid your deductible, the invoice that is sent into them must match the amount of money that you are paying to your contractor. So it's not complicated. It's just not good news when you have a $8,000 deductible and you'd like it to be less. And I get that. The days of having the $250 and $500 or even $1,000 deductibles, those days are over with. So now you just got to be prepared that it's an $8,000 deductible. Now there are some things that can happen. Don't just think that's it. That is it legally as far as on a cut and dry claim. But if, let's say, your claim has gutters, if it has fences, if it has a wood shed or a metal shed, whatever. If you have other things on your property that incur damage, and insurance is willing to write that ACV, that actual cash value check on those items as well, you can take that money and you can apply that towards your deductible, but you cannot then invoice for the repairs to those things because they were not repaired. And you just need to understand anything that you use the actual cash value money on to pay your deductible, that item is no longer covered for hail damage. So if you had a roof on a shed and it was $1,000, but they gave you $500 up front and you use that towards your deductible, that's fine. But your shed on your roof is not covered by for hail damage anymore because they've already started the claim and you didn't repair it. So it's the same thing with gutters and those different type of things. So you just need to. That's where you need to have your contractor, and they can go over these things with a, fine tooth comb, you might say, and be able to say, hey, we can do this or not do this. Sometimes people choose, I don't want to do the gutters for now. I'll take that $2,000 for gutters, and later I'm going to do the gutters. And when you do the gutters later, you'll send a letter to your insurance, say, hey, listen, my gutters have finally been repaired. If it's a couple years later, you're not going to receive your depreciation because you're past that guideline. But insurance isn't as complicated as people make it out to seem. Just understand there is a deductible. There are some ways to get around it legally. The other thing that can happen, let's say that you had an $8,000 deductible, you could have it where your contractor says, you know what, I'll have you pay $4,000 of it up front, and I'll finance the other $4,000 where you can make that in payments to me, and we'll do a little contract on that. If he can show a contract that you're in a commitment loan to pay that back, then that will count the same thing as a check, and then you'll just be responsible for paying that. There's a lot of questions on insurance, but let me just tell you, any questions you have, give me a call. Contact us at My Roofing. Like I said, I'm Kevin Jones. When I started my company, one of the things I did is I went and got the education to become a licensed adjuster. I never worked for an adjuster for an insurance company. I just wanted the knowledge of how insurance really worked and what to look for legally and what to do. It wasn't just there. I also went for ventilation to get my ventilations certificates and things so that when it comes to your attic ventilation, how that operates. And that's all that's for another video. If you have questions, if you haven't got your roof completed yet, and you say, well, I don't have replacement costs, I have actual cash value insurance. Actual cash value insurance just means this. It means you get that front check minus your deductible, and everything else you have to pay. They will not pay depreciation. So it's a much bigger hit. And we can help you with that as well. So any insurance questions, any roofing questions that you have, and it could be an insurance claim for a water leak or whatever we do from the ground up. So whatever we can help you with, give me a call. It's myroofingonline.com. I'm at 817-659-5160. Follow this page for more teachings and instructions on how to do your claims and what to look for in roofs and ventilations and whatnot. But I do thank you for joining me today, and we look forward to hopefully getting to know you down the road as a customer. Thank you.